And welcome to Trophy Kids, presented by Bad News Media. It is May 15th, and we are in the thick of things now here. What a weekend, to say the least. I don't think there's ever been a moment in the history of sports that has ended like the Raptors-Sixers series and then to immediately been forgotten in a couple hours due to a fictional television show. But we are in the thick of it now with the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs entering into the conference championship. How the hell are you today, sir?
Doing well. This isn't the case for you, but payday for me. So I just like to mention that. Payday Wednesday. So happy about that. And yes, the games this past weekend were phenomenal. Awesome games.
Insane. And we start right there, Raptors-Sixers, which was just pure madness from the start to finish, really. First of all, we have a problem. Drake is becoming self-aware. He was wearing Sixers shorts. Let me tell you guys, if this Drake curse thing, which I do believe is a thing, continues to hold true, we are all screwed if he starts wearing our team's apparel, because I cannot stand a Toronto dynasty, all because of Drake.
Oh, God. That would be the absolute worst. Toronto is just so over the top. I think we've ranted on this before. They're just annoying, but I wanted them to beat Philly because I don't like the city of Philadelphia when it comes to sports at all. But, yeah, that series and that game in general was just absolute mayhem just going on. Just so many like different angry personalities on the court. Like Jimmy Butler is just an absolute madman on the court. I would love to have him on my team, but he strikes me as someone that kind of like his time eventually becomes up to where it's like, okay, Jimmy needs to move on just because he's nuts, I think.
Yep. I would agree.
I love him though.
I took the over, which did not hit, and I live took Toronto -1.5 at the end of the game. And when Jimmy hit that shot, I was like, awesome, we're gonna go into overtime. I'm gonna hit the over, and Toronto's still probably gonna win. And then Kawhi hits the triple doink shot of the century, which was fine. I still won the live bet, but insane. And I did say this last week and the week before. Kawhi is in a zone where if he just wants to score, he's going to score. Even though that was an insane shot, he's just scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go back to what you first said, I was actually complete opposite of you. I took the under, and I think I took the Raptors under 108, and then I took Raptors +6. And when Jimmy hit that, I was just like, well, I'm fucked. It's overtime. I'm fucked. And Kawhi hits that, and I was like, yes! I just like leapt out of my couch. But yeah.
The joys of gambling.
Oh, the joys of gambling. It just makes you so much more into these games. Which, I mean, I'm already so into them, but I mean, it just adds to it. But yes, Kawhi Leonard right now, he is playing out of his mind. I've had such difficulty deciding who's playing the best in the playoffs right now. I've decided it's Kawhi. Literally in the last 3 minutes of that game, every single possession was just give the ball to Kawhi.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It was awesome to watch.
I'd agree. Kawhi's probably the best, but this has been the fun part of this playoffs is like almost every night, hell, even within a couple hours of the games, another player goes off where you're honestly having the debate in your head, like, is he the best player? Like between Giannis, Durant, Harden for a little bit in there, Kawhi, Embiid, because he was so dominant at times.
Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic. God. It was like a game would end, you'd be like, that guy's the best player.
Yeah.
And then the next game would start and you'd be like, wait, I don't know, maybe he's the best player right now. Like that's
sports make us so reactionary.
Yeah. The knee-jerk reactions from game to game have been
it's crazy.
A wild roller coaster ride. Speaking of Embiid, love the emotion he showed. That's a guy that if I was a Philly fan, love that. We need more of that on Boston, which I'm going to get to later and the situation going on there. But like that was awesome. I like a player who just shows like that raw emotion in a professional setting. They have to figure out a way to keep him healthy. I don't know if it's going to be next year just not having him play like nearly as much, kind of like a LeBron thing or what. But his body breaking down and not being able to go the full series like he should have been able to was definitely hurt the Sixers, who I think have a great core. And we'll talk a little bit more about what their future looks like, but love Embiid and his emotion there.
I agree. I mean, people were like dogging on him for that. And I'm like, why? Why? He clearly wanted to win. And like, that's awesome. That's what I want to see. And yeah, I agree. I don't like the Sixers. I don't like Philadelphia, like I said, but I love their team. Like if that was my team, I'd be so excited for them because they have so many guys that are so competitive. I mean, Butler's super competitive. They have Embiid. I question Simmons a little bit. But But I mean, they just have a fun team. So I mean, yeah, it was awesome seeing that how much he cared.
Yeah. Also,
but definitely keeping him healthy, that is so key because he's such a talent. When he's healthy, I mean, he's an absolute freak. He's the best big man in the league. We've said that before.
Yep. When he's healthy and he has it going, there is no better big man right now. You could maybe argue Jokic, but Jokic looks like he's playing Saturday Rec League hungover half the time, and he takes it out.
And he plays like he's 6 feet too. I mean, he's Jokic is weird. He's unreal. He's just different.
Different's a good word. He's a 7-foot Pillsbury doughboy who plays like hungover rec league basketball on a Saturday.
Yeah, and throws the ball between like professional athletes' legs on passes. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, super fun. I guess this kind of gets to the point that I had about Brett Brown. People have been saying that he might need to go, which there is precedent in sports where there's like the coach who is there when you're kind of building the franchise, but then you got to bring in another guy to get you over the hurdle. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers did that with Tony Dungy, then Gruden. We see it in professional sports all the time. Embiid came out in strong favor of keeping Brett Brown. I don't know. Is that Brett Brown's fault? Like, he's got to do something different to try to keep Embiid healthy. And maybe next year it's literally just taking the LeBron formula and just not having him play all that much.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I did like about Philly is that they literally stuck with him through all those shitty years, and they were just like, yeah, we're shitty, so like we shouldn't fire our coach because we give him a shitty roster. But so I've respected them for that. But I mean, he needs some sort of help in some sort of way, like with Embiid. Like he needs to limit his minutes.
Yeah, I think that's just it. Because they're right there. They're right there.
I mean, their starting lineup, it's insane. I mean, it's Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, JJ Redick, and Ben Simmons, right? That's their starting five.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. That's a damn good starting five. I mean, it's not like a super flashy starting five, but every single one of those players can put up 25 points.
Yeah. They've got some issues with their free agency this year because I guess you're going to give Butler, I would assume, a max deal.
Yeah.
But then
I probably wouldn't pay Tobias Harris the big money that he's going to get.
I think so too. I think he's the odd man out of those three. I think you try to bring JJ back. I feel like JJ's a reasonable dude too. Like he'll take less to stay on that team.
I think so too.
And Butler gets the max, and yeah, I would agree. Toronto's on to the next round. I don't know if they're going to really be able to do much against the Bucks and Giannis, but it's definitely an interesting matchup because you have Kawhi.
Yeah.
And he's doing whatever he wants on the basketball court right now. I don't know if I have much.
Like with the Bucks and the Raptors, like I've been kind of doubting the Raptors a lot. I bet a lot on Philly in that series, but I mean the Raptors just keep kind of proving me wrong. So we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. The other series, the Nuggets-Portland series. I mean, sad to see Jokic go, but CJ McCollum, talk about Mr. Efficiency. Just absolutely playing one of the cleanest games I've ever seen.
So clean. He was out there like it was 1997, just dropping 17-footers. Like, I haven't seen that in the NBA in forever. Oh, this is amazing. I was just thinking about all the old people that kind of talk about how they hate how the NBA is a three-point contest. I just wanted to be like, turn on your TVs, guys. You guys are just a big old smile on your face.
Yep. The Nuggets-Portland series was that series. It's like we went back in a time machine because it wasn't like the Bucks or Houston or Golden State or any of these teams that just bomb up threes all day long. That was a clean series, and CJ McCollum was that an efficient game.
He went
I
off.
could not say that enough.
And I don't even know if you have it in front of you, but I don't remember what the 3-point percentage was, but I think they were like 7 of like 42. It was like one of the worst 3-point shooting games in like NBA history. It was terrible. But CJ McCollum went off. Jokic was definitely the MVP of that series, but yeah, he went. CJ McCollum went off, and it'll be cool seeing what I call probably the two best backcourts in the NBA playing against each other in the Western Conference Finals. So there's that.
Might as well jump because I don't have much more on that series, the Nuggets-Portland series. The next game, Golden State-Portland, very interesting dynamic. You got Kevin Durant, who's definitely out game one, probably gonna be out longer than that. You've got the Curry brothers going at it. You've got, like you said, two of the best backcourts going up against it. I mean, this has got, if you're a big basketball fan, this is the series of the conference championships I would watch. as far as more interesting and entertaining factors go.
I would agree with that. I think it's the better of the two series, definitely. And you want to count out Portland. You think Golden State's gonna win, but it's hard to doubt Damian Lillard. That guy plays so fucking hard, and he just plays like angry, and like he just wants to score a shit ton of points. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I think Durant will come back after the first time Golden State loses.
Yeah, I'd agree probably. How pissed do you think Durant is that Steph Curry just went? Which also, by the way,
oh my god,
people, how many times?
Second half.
Yeah, how many times do we have to do this? Where like Curry, yes, granted he does not get enough heat for when he plays bad, but he always does this in the playoffs. He usually goes like disappears for a little bit, and then he goes off and just torches people. But how pissed do you think Durant is that he just was not there and the Splash Brothers went back to being the Splash Brothers?
Just that team just went back to like looking better.
Yeah.
They kind of look better. I mean, they really do. Honestly, you're talking about not having Kevin Durant, maybe the best player in the NBA, and they look better.
Insane playoffs too, by the way.
Yes, yeah, who's like putting up 40 a game. I mean, an insane playoffs so far. But yes, they like look more at ease when he's not playing.
Yeah, which is a weird thing. It's like
really weird.
We all know it's like this doesn't really make sense, but it also totally makes sense if you have a set of eyeballs and you're watching the game. Like they obviously look a little bit more in rhythm and rhyme there.
They do. And Steph Curry's second half was just insane. Insane.
It was nuts. Every one of those idiots over at the mothership, the take machine, who were just ripping him before, looked pretty damn clutch last game.
Yeah, Curry can. I just think it's dumb to doubt a player that can literally hit a shot anywhere in the court. Like
2-time Finals MVP too, by the way.
Yes, like he can miss. It never really happens. He can miss 15 threes in a row, and then he can just go bang, 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 and hit just 5. I mean, like, yeah, just that he's the greatest shooter of all time.
Correct. I think it's funny the Currys just came out, I think, today, and we're like, we're gonna flip a coin to decide who we're cheering for. Which I mean, if you're Seth, you just got to be like, come on, guys, can I just at least get one?
He has 3 rings, guys. He's got 3 rings.
Like I know he's probably gonna get mad and throw a tantrum at you, but like, come on now.
Yeah, what's going on here? I'm with you. Like you got to root for Seth. Like
also the fun dynamic. I don't think that many people have. I think I saw the Jump may have talked about it. Somebody was talking about it, but I marked this down this summer when I heard it because I was like, this could come back around. I don't know if you heard this. Durant went on McCollin's podcast, which shout out to CJ, another thing, putting it on for the podcasters. But he was on over the summer. He literally laughed in his face when CJ was like, we can win a championship. And he just straight up laughed. I was like, come on, dude. No, you can't. That dynamic's going to be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
If Durant plays.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, actually. That was a thing. Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, everyone remembers that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's a good little twist to it.
Yeah, very interesting. I think now that we're in the Eastern Conference Championship, the NBA playoffs, which, God bless complex sports, I got a good chuckle the other day when they were like, basketball is now America's sport. Like, come on, guys.
Oh, my gosh.
There was a half-assed minor league team league that was put together, and they beat your marquee weekend in their first week. Like, let's be real here, people.
People are so there's like a select group that's so desperate to like put football down and act like it's not the biggest sport when it's like massively like the gap between football and the second biggest sport, which probably is basketball. I mean, it's massive. It's just laughable.
It was good. It was a good laugh I had. I needed a laugh on a Monday morning, and I got.
That's exactly what it is. Whenever anyone has a take like that, it's just laughable.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's so dumb.
You're wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah. But the most interesting thing for me is this offseason coming up because all these teams that lost, there are huge implications for the offseason because there are teams where, like, if you're a Houston fan, I don't know what you do at this point. Like, you rolled it out again. It didn't go better. Like, I don't know how you improve. I don't know how Oklahoma City improves. The Sixers have some questions, but I think, they're in a decent spot. Like, this offseason is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be so fun because literally in the East, every team other than Milwaukee and, like you said, the Sixers, I think it's just going to we'll have a pretty big shakeup. Like you've got Boston. I mean, is Kyrie leaving? Are they going to get AD? I mean, you got New York. Is New York going to get KD? And then you've got Toronto. Is Kawhi leaving? Like if you're the Sixers in Milwaukee, you almost just kind of want to sit there and do nothing and see if everyone else in the East can just kind of f themselves over.
Yeah,
It's
just
weird.
have them self-implode.
Yeah, like Boston. I think Boston. I think you'll probably talk more on it later, but I think they're just waiting to implode.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there in a moment.
Yeah, and Danny Ainge. I think Danny Ainge is probably gonna start shipping some of those young guys out.
Yeah.
And then, if you're the Sixers, I mean, Toronto, you really think Kawhi's coming back? We'll see.
I will say them winning is the best thing happened to them to try to get him back, because getting a taste of that, and from what every athlete's ever said, like Toronto's awesome. Mm-hmm. That definitely helps your case, because it's really just like, where would he rather get a max deal at? And that definitely helps.
Yeah, and they can pay him the most.
Yes, this is also true. That's also a nice little card to have in your back pocket.
It is.
I would agree. The self-imploding thing, if you're the Sixers, I think you hold back. You got a great core. Ben Simmons, I would hope, would learn to shoot a basketball in the offseason. If he does, thoughts and prayers. Which also, by the way, I don't think people are really going to hate this take, but LeBron James getting out of the East at this time was the best thing he ever did for his career. Because we all saw the East coming. It was just super young. It was super bad the last couple of years. But could you imagine if LeBron had stayed in Cleveland? Because in LA, that team was a joke. There were no real expectations. In Cleveland, they wouldn't have done shit in this Eastern Conference this year. And it would have been bad.
Yeah, like he probably would have won the first round. Well, actually, I don't know, because he may have been a bottom 4 team.
Yeah, it would have been rough.
Yeah, he may have lost in the first round. He really could have.
That would have been even worse than this going to the Lakers and missing the playoffs, which I think everybody's sort of kind of not really forgotten about, but are like, it imploded.
And he also missed like 19 games.
Exactly. But if he had been in the East, because the Eastern Conference has gotten good now.
Yeah, I never really thought of that. He probably would have lost in the first round, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have been a top 4 team.
That would have been so
That would have been crazy. Wow.
All of us LeBron haters would have had so much material there. I kind of wish it had happened now.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting.
Yeah. So you've got, there's a lot of potential offseason moves. And also, LeBron James, no trade clause. I don't think they're ever going to trade him. But just to throw that wrench in the pot.
I don't think LA's going to get anyone.
I don't either. That's gonna.
I think the Clippers might get Kawhi, but I don't think, and they could get Durant as well. But, but I don't know if anyone wants to play with LeBron anymore.
I don't either.
I just don't think they do.
The Raps out. I mean, he can't get anybody to come shoot freaking Space Jam with him. What? They're gonna come play a whole season with him?
Yeah.
In a disaster of a front office. Yeah, that would be a funny storyline. I also don't think LeBron's getting anybody. The Boston thing, because I didn't get to address it last week, that is a fucking disaster. The Celtics were all over the ESPN channels today. Terry Rozier was bitching and complaining all over the place. Jaylen Brown handled himself like a professional. Applause to him. Here's my ranking order of whose fault it is. Number one, it starts with Kyrie. It is,
yes.
You are the shoulder of the problem. Like, you are it. You don't get to come in and say you want to be a leader and then act the way you did. First of all, he thinks everything that comes out of his mouth is fucking the greatest thing ever spoken in the English language. Like, it is insane. You're not Socrates here, man. You're Kyrie Irving. Like, you believe the earth was flat for a little while. Like, what are we doing here?
Yes.
Terrible. Then Brad Stevens. Then I do think Danny Ainge. Because while he put together an insanely talented roster, the pieces just don't fit. I don't blame him entirely. He'll do something crazy, but it just doesn't work. And part of that's also Hayward just did not become the player he was supposed to become. Injury did help shove him in that way.
Oh, yeah.
But the Kyrie thing has been an absolute train wreck. I don't want him signed again. I don't think you can sign him. I think Boston will explode, mostly because of his attitude and just it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose and just not care, or at least show that you don't care, have no fight in that city, in Boston. You could do that in New Orleans. You can do that in maybe Oklahoma City or some other basketball town that isn't. There are certain expectations in Boston, and you failed every one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much say you nailed it there. Kyrie, he didn't really realize how much of, I don't even want to say diva, but he's kind of a diva, but you didn't really realize how much of a pain in the ass he was until he came to Boston. And I think we should have maybe like thought that more when he randomly decided he didn't want to play with LeBron James anymore. I know we said LeBron can't get people to play with him, but like, why would you leave him when you're on a good team? Like, I just don't think that was looked at enough. Maybe.
Yeah, the biggest problem is he wanted to be a leader and he's just not.
Yeah,
and
he's
like,
not.
And at that point in your career, like you should have an understanding. Like you're not a rookie in the league. Like he is a Robin who thinks he should be Batman, and that's a disaster. Like he is never going to be the alpha on the team. He's never going to be your number one guy, which it's already hard to be that way as a point guard, especially at his stature. Like that's just tough. But he cannot be your number one option because it's just not going to work out.
No,
that's what we.
Yeah, he's not. And honestly, if you look at his Cavs teams before LeBron got there, they sucked. I think the most wins he had was like 34, and that was back when I used to argue that John Wall's better than Kyrie. I would never say that now, and I wouldn't have said it the past 2 years. But that's when I was like, people would argue with me that Kyrie Irving was better than John Wall back then. I'd be like, Wall leads his team. We actually go to the playoffs. Like Kyrie's never led his team anywhere, and he still. I mean, he led a Boston team that had so much talent that we could have led it. Like that's not saying much. Like he's never truly led a team to the playoffs.
Correct. And Brad Stevens also, he somehow is, I think he's getting some. People forget, last year, people were talking about, like,
oh my God,
how many players would it take until you draft Brad Stevens? And he was, like, always in the top 10, which was crazy. This is a players' league. I don't know why we forgot this. The only coach that does not apply to is Pop, because he's like Belichick, and he's got a weird thing going down in San Antonio where normal basketball rules don't apply. But, like, this is a players' league. This is a players-driven league. Coaching is important because you can see teams that like should be way better. You implement a half competent coach, which he is. He's a good coach, but like he definitely got knocked down a peg. But I do think it falls on him because as an NBA coach, you are more a personality manager than you are an X's and O's guy. Like that's just what it is, and he didn't do a good job this year.
I agree 100%. And if you hear if you hear anything about like someone like Phil Jackson, they'll tell you he's not really good at X's and O's. He's an incredible motivator, and he's good at managing all the personalities. That's what a great coach in the NBA is, for the most part. I mean, other than like you said, Pop just runs like he's Pop's Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. They're all the same person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Normal laws do not apply to them as far as it doesn't. They're a different realm.
They're just completely different human beings. But yeah, last year, dude, Brad Stevens, oh my God, he walked on water. I mean,
he was the second coming of Greg Popovich was what was happening.
He was. And so, that was just kind of a little reality check. Again, sports reactionary.
Yep, super reaction. It's beauty. Like we all eventually end up on cold freezing takes or whatever that Twitter account is. Yeah, we all end up there. It's coming from us one way. Which, by the way, I didn't write this down on our sheet. Boeheim move from Michigan to the Cavs. I'm always fascinated when a coach like that goes from the college ranks to the NBA. Sort of like a Brad Stevens thing, because in college it is more coaching. It is X's and O's. It's more the like intelligent game is probably a bad word.
You're dealing. I don't want to call. They're not amateur athletes, but they are amateur athletes.
Yeah, there's a little bit more respect. They don't think they're better than the coach necessarily.
Right, and you're also you're the millionaire.
Yeah, exactly. You literally can cut them, and then they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more controlling, which is, I don't know why we're really laughing about that, but it's the case. So I'm always interested when a college coach, I'm going to be very interested in him going to the Cavs. I don't 1,000% think that's going to work out. I think it's probably going to be a disaster, but we'll see, because it is personality management. That's what it is in the NBA.
It is, and I thought it was kind of an interesting hire, too, just because, again, you're going from college where you kind of you're in charge of it and everything. Like, that's your team. You have these players for 4 years and they're gone, but in pros, I mean, they don't really have anyone where I can say it's their team. What is it, Kevin Love's team? I don't know. But, so it's an interesting move, definitely.
I was just looking up. Yeah, he did. Dan Gilbert did go to Michigan State, so are we trying to sabotage Michigan here? Like, is that what we're really doing? Because I don't really think he cares about the Cavs anymore. There's a long-time rumor that he's always wanted to be the Pistons owner, and that's in the works for a couple of years now. But just saying, maybe he's trying to take away Michigan basketball there.
Interesting theory.
Yeah. Anything else on the basketball before we move on to a little hockey talk? I don't really have much else, I don't think.
Not really. We covered a lot there.
Yeah. Little hockey talk. The Bruins are beating the piss out of the Carolina. Carolina looks like a glorified AHL team at this point. Like, if you're an Islanders fan too, How embarrassed do you have to be that you got swept by this team? I'll give the Caps credit because they put up a fight, as well as I think they'd be giving Boston a little bit of a trouble. But Carolina, that is a sorry-ass team right now.
Right now, they're playing real sorry. And I kind of wanted to – a lot of Carolina fans were getting a little over the top here. And I was like, you guys realize there's still a very long way to go. Like, we just went through this. It's a long way to go. And Boston right now is smoking.
Yes. Now that game tonight at 8 while we're recording, you're listening to this on Wednesday. Hopefully the Bruins won. They have to get, there is a home ice advantage in hockey because arenas go bananas, as we've talked about in the past. Right. And they have a very, very passionate fan base right now. But here's the other thing. I don't understand a team that looks at the Boston Bruins and goes, you know what's a good idea? Let's try to out-physical that team. Because that's what they've basically been doing. You're not going to win that style. We are literally built to beat you to a pulp. Like, we will take the hit and then deliver it. You have to give us a mixture of speed, sort of like the Capitals did last year. Not against the Bruins, but as you went through, where you had a mixture of speed and physicality.
Yes. Because
you're not going to beat the Bruins that way. You got to put us back on our heels if you expect to beat us.
I 100% agree with you, and I actually agree with you when it comes to my team as well, is when teams try to, like, out-physical the Caps, we're always like, hell yes, like, we're going to win this series. Because then they just focus on trying to hit you, and they don't focus on just skating around you like they could be doing. And that kind of is what Carolina's been doing. And, yeah, this is not going to work. And I will say their home ice is insane, and the reason why is because they're one of the very few NHL arenas where you can tailgate, so they're all hammered. And they've been tailgating since like 1 p.m. So that definitely helps your arena.
Yeah.
Because Cap One you can't tailgate, and
no,
Boston
not at the Garden.
Like yeah,
no,
you can't do that. So yeah, that helps. So it'll be loud. So we'll see.
Yeah. I haven't watched as much Capitals hockey, but I think they're sort of the same way. You can see the team, especially the Bruins, when we start getting that's how we get going. When we get physical, everybody's speed starts to pick up. The team gets energized. That was what Columbus was doing to us. They were giving us a mixture of speed and physicality, and we didn't look energized. We kind of looked sloppy. But when we start hitting, or you start hitting us and get us pumped up, game over. I'm sorry. You just can't do that. You got to pump and dump, try to put us on our heels. That's all I really have on that. The San Jose-St. Louis series, last night's, love that because I took San Jose the first game, and I took St. Louis the next game because I was like, they got their brains beat in. They're a junkyard team, St. Louis. They are going to go ahead and get game 2. That is a phenomenal series. I'm going to say right now, if the Bruins make it out, which I think they are, I am terrified of San Jose because that team, I don't know, they don't look like they really have a whole lot of rhyme or reason. They just make it up as they go, and they're insane. They're a bunch of insane dudes.
Yeah, San Jose is pretty awesome. I like watching them. And right now, Logan Couture is playing out of his ever-loving mind.
It is nuts.
He's playing insane. He has 13 goals already. And I think Ovechkin last year had 17. If he keeps playing, he should crush that. But
yes.
He has 13. I think the next closest person is I think it's 9 maybe, 8 or 9. And so he's got
since 2010. He has 47. Ovi has 50.
Yeah,
since 2010.
Of course, Ovi's kicking. Ovi's
of course,
Ovi's being fucking Ovi. But yeah, I also saw Couture has 97 points in his last 98 playoff games. That's
insane.
That's point per game. That's Ovechkin. That's Crosby numbers. That's fucking elite. Yeah, he's playing out of his mind. And then I loved how after the game, I have no problem when players do this. After the game, he was basically just like, yeah, I did everything and no one did anything else. He was basically like, other people have to do something. And I don't mind when players do that. I think that's good motivation in my opinion.
And it's also not a soft league. If an NBA player did that, their locker room would explode. But you can do this in football and hockey where it honestly sort of brings the locker room a little bit together because it's yeah, shit, you're right. It's a different camaraderie. And I do too. I love it when they call them out for their shit or they fight. When you hear about fights in practice because somebody wasn't practicing the right way, and it's God, I love this sport.
I have no problem with that. No problems whatsoever.
Yeah, that's an electric series. It sucks to try to stay up to watch some of these games.
Yeah.
Awesome series. I do think San Jose is probably going to come out of that. We've been talking about them the most. They are pests. That is a nuclear bomb waiting to go off, though, if the Bruins and San Jose play, because those are two teams that do not put up with a ton of shit, and they both have players on their teams and rosters that give a bunch of shit, mostly Marchand. Marchand is going to cause a all-out brawl if San Jose and the Bruins get together. It is going to be It's gonna be
I
bad.
agree. It'll be nuts.
It's gonna be super entertaining.
It'll be super nuts. I mean, right now I think I've said San Jose is my team because they're kind of like the old Caps. Which, by the way, some people have been saying to me when I've said San Jose is like the Caps, they're like, yeah, well, the Blues have always been good, and they don't either. The Blues have been good for like 30 years, and they don't win. The Caps and San Jose got good kind of around the same time.
Yes,
So
I'd agree.
That's what I say to people when they say, well, the Blues have always been good. Well, the Blues have been good forever, and they just can't ever win. So I don't know what
They've
to
got
say.
some wily veterans. Also, that's just a grimy looking team of San Jose. You look across the line, you're like, those are a bunch of dudes that just look like they'd be coming on Viking ships to your village in the old days type of ship.
Thank you. That's so true.
Like, that's what it is. All right, well, that was hockey talk. Final thoughts. I got a Game of Thrones rant, which I know you don't watch, but because I was ready to fight people on Sunday, which also I find this.
I've been hearing so many mixed reviews on this show, and it's just funny. As someone who doesn't watch it, it's just hilarious. There's just so many people are defending the shit out of it, and some people are like, "This sucks," and I'm just like, I just sit back and watch. It's so funny.
All I can say is thank God for like shows like The Sopranos, The Wire. Twitter was not around when those shows were coming to an end. Yeah, I was ready to fight the internet on Sunday because this season has sucked. Don't get me wrong, terrible, trash. They have not destroyed a series because it's still a phenomenal series, but the season has sucked. Really? Last night was the first actual Game of Thrones episode. It was phenomenal. Everybody who disagrees, you guys are dumb. We're not watching the same TV shows. People were mad that Dany went crazy. That woman, love her. They built her up to be the hero we wanted, but at the same time, we all knew she was going to go mad. Let me just run down the list, and since you know nothing, tell me if you think somebody would go crazy. She's lost her father, her brother, her husband, her baby, 90% of her army, even though they somehow brought them all back. I don't know how that was a thing. 2 dragons, which she views as her babies. She lost her lover, her 2 best friends and top advisors. Another advisor conspired against her, and then she saw her best friend's head get chopped off. Yeah, I think she's going to go mad. I don't know, dude.
Those life events could have an impact.
Not only that, but in season 2, she literally said, "We will lay waste to your armies and burn cities to the ground." What, you all think she was going to let the commoners out of the city before she burned it to the ground? What are we talking about here? It's always, the writing has been on the wall. Yes, the writers could have done a better job in this season. It feels rushed.
Yeah.
The season has sucked, 1,000% agree, but that was the first actual Game of Thrones episode of the season. People died unexpectedly. Things happened that we weren't expecting. They ripped our hearts out and ate them in front of our faces. It was great.
Now this upcoming Sunday is the last one ever?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be.
Is that correct? Oh, wow.
It's going to be terrible. I'm already preparing myself.
I've actually decided, I mean, I've watched like 9 episodes, and I think I've said it before, like this summer I'm not going to have anything to watch on my TV because I don't watch baseball. I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about in the summer.
It's going to get interesting, to say the least.
But I guess I'm just going to binge watch Game of Thrones all summer till football comes back.
Dude, the best part is like not watching it in real time because like things have happened in real time. I'm like, God, I got to wait another like 2 years for this to be binge. I binge watched it before the season, which I also think that's sort of why people are mad. I don't know if you all didn't binge watch it, but if you binge watched it, you picked up on a lot of stuff that like, yeah, no doubt she was going to go crazy. Phenomenal show. Awesome show. Also in the books too. Like that was where she was going. Martin said she was going to become crazy. Sorry you don't like it, but that's what Game of Thrones is. Also my last final thought. What did I all say to everybody out here? When baseball started, it doesn't matter what happens in April, doesn't matter what happens in March. The Red Sox, bats are chirping. We're beating the brains out of teams right now, playing great baseball. It's going to be fine. It's a long season. They could collapse next month and like everybody could throw their arms out or get hangnails and be out for like a month because that's baseball.
You got to watch out for the hangnails.
Yeah. Turf toe is a big
turf toe in baseball. That's season ending.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah, the Sox are back to being the Sox. We'll see what happens. That's all I got for final thoughts. Also prediction. Oh, well, I won't give the prediction because you're going to binge Game of Thrones. I'll tweet it on the Twitter Trophy Kids if you want my final.
I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. But final thoughts from me. Nothing really. I thought it was funny that the Lakers hired Frank Vogel and then also hired Jason's kid. That was weird.
Talk about getting cucked in your own job.
Yeah, I was just like, what? When I saw it, I like had to like check. I was like, who's the head coach?
Nobody wanted Jason Kidd, and they stuck him with him.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, is that who LeBron wants? And they just brought him for LeBron? Like, what's going on? Anyway, so I thought that was odd, but yeah, That's my final thought.
All right. Sounds good. We will be off Thursday. I got to go to a graduation. We also have not been doing a good job of putting on Thursday shows. That's more for a certain somebody. You know who you are. But we will get better, get back to it. And yeah. And we're about to lose sound, so good time to peace out. All right. Peace, everybody.